Welcome back to the channel, everyone. As Blue Gators, and today I'm going to be reacting to a friend of mine's video, quick binger. By the way, if you like my content, you should definitely check him out. He makes really good stuff. Very base gentleman, and I would definitely recommend you his content. But anyway, he in a video, which he is super proud of, and I am so excited to watch. It's about the Alliance and why you don't understand it. Now, I think I know where this is going because I've had so many discussions with people about the Alliance and their formation and how, the usual gripes and complaints. So I think I know where this is going, but again, I've not watched the video. It's gonna be my first time watching it, so I'm super excited to get into it. So let's just get right into the video.
Yes, the Alliance. Any Attack on Titan fan that has not been living under a rock for the past 3 or so years has surely come across people trying to hate on the series for supposedly portraying them as the good guys, even though they are hypocrites who are trying to save the people.
Yeah, funny enough, speaking of the meme betrayers here, I actually made a video where I was defending Yams, Isayama, by explaining how the Alliance is not supposed to be morally superior. Surprisingly, the ending defenders, people who supposedly like Isayama, they came after me and were whining and complaining about it. So that's a bit interesting.
Who will kill everyone on Paradise Island, indirectly causing the slaughter of their own comrades. They also hate on certain members of the Alliance, most
for no reason. They hate Annie for no reason, but we'll get into that later, I'm sure.
Notably, Annie, because she previously seemed to enjoy killing the soldiers of Paradise, specifically Levi's squad, and is now being given a free pass for her heinous actions. In this video, I am going to explain why this take is blatantly wrong and completely misunderstands everything that the series is trying to say through its usage of these characters and their position within the story.
I'm sure you are, bro.
Contrary to what the average Jaegerist will tell you, the Alliance are not supposed to be 100% seen as the good guys, and them being shown 100%. In a positive light does not mean they are correct.
100%.
It is a very grey situation, and there is no right or wrong answer. As Irwin once said, the only truth of this world is that there is no truth, and the Alliance demonstrate that very well. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and hopefully it gives you a new perspective on the Alliance. Let's start with how the Alliance came to be. Hanji is the one who concocts the plan to join forces with Mali after having confronted Peak and Magath earlier. They talk to John and Mikasa about it, and Mikasa agrees that it is the best choice of action. However, John is a bit iffy about the whole thing and remembers his dream to live a comfy life in the interior, thinking about how much easier it would be for him and his comrades if Eren succeeded. Already, this little moment of hesitation before finally accepting Hanji's idea shows how nuanced the whole situation is. The rumbling does benefit everyone on Paradise, and the logical solution is allowing it to finish. However, that just does not sit well with our heroes, because they simply cannot live in—
also, before getting further, props to him for putting subtitles into the video. That actually is a very work-intensive process, so good on him.
A world in which they are part of the reason the entire rest of the world was destroyed. Of course, Eren's main motivation was freedom, but it is undeniable that the safety of his beloved friends also played a part in why he did the rumbling. From Hanji and the rest's point of view, Eren is doing this for them, and so they grapple between what is right and what is easy. Sitting back and relaxing while their enemies are destroyed by Eren would be the easier choice, but it is not right to ignore and benefit from such a vile act, and that is ultimately why John agrees with Hanji when they combat his argument. Those ashy bones would never forgive him if he watched from the sidelines while innocent children died. Saving Paradise was never the true mission of the Survey Corps. Saving humanity was.
I was going to disagree, but no, he's right. The main purpose of the Survey Corps is why you should use the. I mean, I guess you could use the other translation as well. Was to survey land, right? And it's to survey land because they're doing it for the benefit of humanity. That's why I say Erwin and Erwin were imposters, because Eren and Erwin use the Survey Corps for their own personal reasons. Survey Corps was to be like, I am going to fight I'm going to sacrifice on the front lines so that you can enjoy freedom that I can have. Right. I'm going to go and get killed so I can see the ocean. Or whatever. Then, of course, the mission got changed because of Walmaria, yada yada. But yes, it's right. The main goal of the Red Corps was to benefit the rest of humanity, and not just a small group of people. And that is what this concept of what is the Red Corps is actually quite important, because after the ocean, that there's sort of like an identity crisis, because there's like a schism with the Civic Corps, where you have former members. Again, are they really former members, or are they continuing the legacy? That's the whole question. Is Flock a former member of the Civic Corps, or is he continuing the legacy of the Civic Corps? And that's really the whole question of whether or not what the Civic Corps is. And yes, it is indeed for the benefit of humanity. I just want to get that out of the way, just so there's no confusion, because that is an important part of the final arcs.
I cannot believe people think characters like Owen would side with Eren, because his actions.
I mean, it's believable. It's believable that Erwin would do that, because, I mean, he was a person who would kill countless people and then for a goal to not skip a beat. So I could see why people would say that, for sure. And I have in my mind, because I feel like there's no reason to even think about it, because we already know what his actual goal was. His goal wasn't about parity or about humanity. It was about the basement. And after you get to the basement, that's it. I feel like there's no reason to contemplate it, but you do have, again, you have him in these flashbacks. You have him, as people pointed out in Core 1, you have him in the afterlife noticeably without Flock. And trust me, I've looked. So it seems to imply that he wouldn't do that. But I think that there's still an argument to be made that he would. I personally don't ponder, because I think it's an exercise of utility.
Are the antithesis of what the Survey Corps is all about. Mm-hmm. All of the dead comrades that surround.
Yeah, but Benjer, he explicitly said before he died that he was a fake, phony. He lied to his comrades, he lied to himself, right? So there's that. He explicitly said, "I'm not like the other people," right? And that's because he wasn't. Listen to him.
Handry died because they believed in freedom for humanity. They believed in an idea of a free world devoid of titans, full of peace and happiness, no more conflict or lives lost. Even Eren himself believed in this idea, but what he misunderstood about it was that the world without conflict isn't a free world. As Owen says, conflict is inevitable, but that does not make life meaningless. In fact, it is what makes it meaningful. That is what Armin, Hanji, and the others believe in as well. Ultimately, what is most important is making the choice you are most proud of and regret the least. The choice that puts others before yourself and benefits all of humanity. The choice to trample the entire world wouldn't be a choice made by Erwin or any other fallen member of the Survey Corps. Onyankopon reiterates this in one of the most base speeches in all of manga. He says that licking the boots of the Jaegerists is the last thing he would want to do, because they are killing the very people he wants to protect. Making the whole world smaller doesn't delete all conflict. The world doesn't work.
Ditto in, I don't know if it's this or not, but ditto in 130, it's 130, yeah, it's all of humanity, 130, 129, probably 129, and this is where Kiyomi says you're just going to make the world a smaller place, right? Because all the underlying issues, this is something people really, really, really need to get down. Racism was never the problem. It was never the problem. Let me say this to you again. Racism was never the problem. And it is extremely minor. Okay? That's not the issue. Right? That's why this is a mistake a lot of Jaegers make. You think, oh, it's racism. So if you get rid of racism, we're going to be fine. When, no, it is motivated by fear, greed, and imperialism, which could be construed as greed. When I say greed, I mean monetary, like money. That's why. Ymir was not kidnapped because she was of a different race. Parity wasn't invaded mainly because they're a different race. They used them they want oil. They used their hatred as a mechanism for world peace. That'd be fear. They wanted to subjugate people like all men do. So this is, a great example of this. Here's a brilliant example. Right. Filipino War, as an example. Were the Americans racist towards the Filipinos? Well, yes, of course. Did that play a factor in the war? Yes, of course. But is racism the main reason why we invaded their country? Well, no, of course not. We wanted money and we wanted influence in that region. That's why. That's the main reason why. And that's what all men do. That's what all countries have done since the beginning. Since, again, Marley and Eldia used to be tribes, small little tribes. Probably less the population of Eldia now. So, all you're doing with the rumbling is you're simply taking the, about 1 billion, 2 billion people that are fighting for various reasons, and you're just saying, okay, let's make it to 1 million people who are fighting in genocide each other for various reasons. Because believe me, and I think everyone knows this, there will be genocide, there will be oppression. All you're doing is making the world smaller.
Work like that. It would simply just leave a bunch of xenophobic maniacs who believe their world is gospel. It simply isn't worth living in a world controlled by the Jaegerists. They aren't the same as the old Survey Corps veterans who believed in something greater than themselves, who gave their hearts for humanity, not just themselves. The Jaegerists believe that wiping out humanity will fix everything, and that Eren is the devil Paradis needs, and the one who will give up his own humanity to save Paradis. But Armin says something very early on, that I don't remember the exact quote, but it's something along the lines of, if overcoming monsters requires one to sacrifice their humanity, is that really a victory for humanity? That line, I think, perfectly encapsulates the philosophy of the Alliance and the Survey Corps.
Very good catch.
A peaceful world on Paradis is meaningless if innocent lives are lost to get to that outcome. The Survey Corps is about freedom, and taking for freedom of others is not what its members would want. Conflict is inevitable, but what is truly important is appreciating the little things in life, always trying to improve and become a better person, and understanding the other side to make it all the more unlikely for more lives to be lost. Now, let's move on.
Okay, so before we move to the next section, that was a great, brilliant explanation of the Survey Corps. I really have nothing to say to that. I mean, I disagree, obviously, on ideological grounds, right? I think it is 100% worth it to live in a world where you go and kill innocent people, whatever, under the right circumstances. Don't take this clip out of context to say I'm like an enthusiastic supporter of genocide. I'm just saying I simply disagree with the premise. If my country and my family has been in danger, and that involves war with collateral damage, if that involves some bloodshed, I can live with that. But besides that, and I'm saying he's wrong because it's simply just a matter of it's. I hate to say morality comes down to an opinion because there is such a thing as objective morality, but it comes down to our moral compass, or what we feel comfortable, how much we feel comfortable bending said moral compass. So he rightfully doesn't feel like it's worth to live in a world where you do that to people. I do. That's not, I'm not saying there's nothing flawed with his logic. It's just I have a different set of parameters.
Onto the controversy surrounding the
he's gonna really cook here. I can already tell. I follow him on Twitter. I talk to him a lot. I can already tell he's gonna cook.
Warriors and how they are treated by our heroes.
Let's go.
I see a lot of people criticize the OG cast for teaming up with the Warriors, while also going against Eren, showing that they are hypocrites fighting alongside a bunch of mass murderers while trying to stop a mass murderer.
Really good character. Alright, let's go through this. Complacent genocide. No, it's another thing. Peak isn't complacent genocide. She actively caused it. Right? Peak was the one who was when Zeke was throwing the rocks to kill the Survey Corps, she's rolling them to him. She's again, that's like, I don't know how to describe it. That's like a soldier, they're doing a mass shooting, a mass killing, and someone gives them the ammo for the machine gun, right? So someone's supplying the gas for the gas chamber. She's not complacent. She's doing it. Like, you wouldn't say, oh, the person who supplies the bullets, they're complacent. Oh, the person who supplies the gas for the gas chamber, they're complacent. No. Peak actively committed genocide. It's not genocide. I think the word genocide has been used a lot. No one here has committed genocide except for Eren. let's just get that away. But yes, she mass killing. Yes, Annie, whatever, was trying to genocide Paradis. I mean, just as far as general maggots go, was he trying to genocide Paradis? Yes, but also, he also admittedly set a bunch of children on, these various countries. They said they subdued the country in a day, something like that. So, an entire city. I'm saying a country. This happened to a country. So there's that. Reiner did not commit genocide. Only tolerate genocide against Paradis. Yeah, Hanji didn't really do anything much wrong here. She did torture that guy. So there's that. This is what I'm talking about. There's so many sins that these people commit. People just think about the big stuff, the genocide. These people, they're so evil. And not only they're guilty of, genocide, they have so many other little things beforehand. Remember, Armin said they weren't good people in season 3. Okay? Just gotta remember that. Jean thanked Eren for genocide, whatever. Loves her Eren, yada, yada, yada. So let's go through this because I really think it's valuable to highlight, Isayon's not trying to portray the Alliance as more superior. As far as Jean goes, no, Jean, again, actively, everyone who is in the barrio is responsible for the barrio assault. I always say Annie killed 250,000 people. Did Annie directly kill 250,000 people? No, she did not. But she helped, so she is responsible. She bears that guilt. Okay? Reiner also did not. Well, Reiner did break the wall, so that's true there. But that's actually why Annie's a really good example because not only is Annie one of my favorite characters, she's also only directly killed a few people, right? So if we're gonna, and I don't think anyone disagrees with me, if we're gonna say Annie killed 250,000 people, we have to say Jean assisted in every innocent person who died in the apartment buildings, at the port, who got trampled on in Liberio. Not to mention Hanji, who was one of the leaders of the operation, and Armin, who again was one of the leaders of the operation, and who was the person who actually killed them himself. He directly killed them, and I love to point this out. Speaking of Armin,
However, this is a blatant misinterpretation of what Isayama is trying to portray when putting these characters together. I have noticed a lot of people hate on Annie specifically, yet I see little to no hate geared towards Reiner, Magath, or even Peak. This is probably because Annie didn't get punished, or it's just misogyny, but that's a story for another time. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that picking and choosing who to hate is disingenuous, as Reiner and the other formerly antagonistic characters are not condemned by the fans, probably due to bias and misinterpretation of Annie's extremely subtle and not so obvious character arc and development. Back to the main discussion. I think people don't understand why the OG cast and the Warriors came together to fight Eren, and why they killed their former comrades. As I've said before, our main cast, aka the people benefiting from the rumbling, are aware that it is the best option for Paradis. but they believe it to be a worthless victory if so many lives are taken in the process. Taking lives isn't what the Survey Corps is all about, and that is what the Jaegerists don't understand. Flock is a character who thinks only winning is important, and that to win you must sacrifice your morals. He misunderstands the inherent innocence that comes with being a member of the Survey Corps. Every member of our cast was a bright-eyed, hopeful soul, looking forward to a better horizon at the beginning. And while some have changed and matured due to their traumatic experiences, they are still the same as they were in the beginning, in that their hope trumps all else. Flock lost hope, and that is what caused his downfall. Flock has not experienced the true battle, the battle of morals that occurred within each of our characters. They know they are irredeemable, but choose to still be better people despite this, because that is what they were raised to do. They team up with the warriors because they still have that shred of innocence. Remember Marco, probably the most innocent and kind-hearted character in the story, and he died asking, "Why can't we just talk things out?" This line foreshadows what will happen with the Alliance. They do exactly that. They talk things out, and they understand each other. They aren't children, they are mature adults who know how cruel the world can be. Why would Levi punish Annie when the literal end of the world is happening, and he has bigger things to worry about? Him to beat her up, and then simply accept the situation for what it is. Yes, John does beat up Reiner, but that is in character, and John does resolve things with Reiner afterwards, and forms a subtle friendship with him, as shown in the final battle, where John is shown to always help Reiner when he is in a tough spot. The Alliance members are capable of moving on, something the Jaegerists are unable to do. They are incapable of moving from the trauma that they suffered in their youth, something each member of the Alliance has already done. Inner peace isn't always achieved through battle, but through empathy and understanding. I see some people asking why Magas and the others are forgiven. The truth is that they are not. They are simply understood. Understanding is not the same as forgiving. Like Armin and Annie, or John and Reiner, do form close bonds by the end of the story, they still haven't forgotten their actions. They are human after all. And them understanding each other doesn't mean all is forgiven, because some things can't be forgiven, but they can be understood. Attack on Titan is a story about how humanity can endure even the toughest of conflicts, how we as a species can come together to form a better world if we just sat down and talked to each other. We are social animals, and putting those social skills to good use is the ultimate key to world peace, and that is what the Alliance is all about. It is no coincidence that Armin takes up the title of Commander of the Survey Corps from Hanji, because he has the exact same bright-eyed enthusiasm and curiosity that defined Hanji in earlier seasons. But while Hanji has since become more cynical and serious, Armin never lost his innocence, and that is why only he is capable of bearing the burden that turned Hanji into a hollow husk of their former self. Now Hanji can enjoy their final moment in peace, surrounded by the things they used to talk about so enthusiastically. Titans. The Alliance is a union, a team that is formed because these characters are capable of growth, while their antagonist Eren can never grow past his selfish nature. The nature of the Survey Corps members is the same as Eren. They want freedom, but they want a different freedom from Eren. A freedom that doesn't restrict, but comforts. A freedom that can bring people together and create heaven on earth, if for a short while. Even though this type of freedom may be fleeting or short-lived, it doesn't take lives or the freedom of others, and it is still worth experiencing. The Alliance fights for that freedom, the freedom to understand.